Hello, my dear listeners, and welcome to another episode of Best English Podcast. My name is Sara, and I'm so happy to have you here today. If this is your first time joining us, I want you to know you are not just listening to words. You are taking an important step toward building a better future for yourself. Learning English can sometimes feel heavy, like carrying a bag of books up a hill. But here's the truth. You don't need to climb the hill in one day. You only need to take one step at a time. And listening, my friends, is one of those small daily steps that can completely change your fluency. Think about it. Before a baby speaks, what do? They listen. They listen to every sound, every laugh, every word, every story told around them. That's how they learn. And you are no different. Your ears are your strongest teachers, but only if you use them every single day. Today, I will share with you some powerful listening habits that can boost your fluency. Not in a boring textbook way, but in a natural, enjoyable way that fits your daily life. So, grab a cup of tea, get comfortable, and let's go on this journey together. And before we dive in, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this podcast with a friend who is also learning English. Stay with me until the end. You'll walk away not only with tips, but with real motivation to use them. You're listening to Best English Podcast, your daily step toward better English. This simple habit blocks your progress in ways you don't expect. And that's where we begin. The first habit is very simple. Listen every day, even if it's just for 10 minutes. Many learners think they need hours of listening practice. But that's not true. What you need is consistency. Imagine you want to grow a plant. If you give it a huge bucket of water once a month, it may die. But if you give it a little water every single day, it grows strong. Your English listening works the same way. For example, you could listen while brushing your teeth, walking to school, or cooking dinner. The key is not the time, it's the regularity. Exercise. Right now, think of one moment in your daily routine when you are free. Maybe on the bus. Maybe while washing dishes. Choose that moment as your English listening time. I clearly remember a student of mine, let's call her Anya. She told me she had no time to practice English. She was always busy. But then she decided to listen every morning while making coffee. At first, it was only 5 minutes. But after a month, she noticed she could understand her favorite TV shows more easily. She looked at me with surprise and said, "Sara, I didn't expect 5 minutes to change so much." Her experience shows us that small daily listening is more powerful than long, rare listening sessions. But there is one mistake many learners make. They listen, but they don't pay attention. And that's the next habit we need to talk about. When we listen, there are two ways: passive and active. Passive listening is when English is just background noise. Maybe music while you clean your room. It helps a little, but not much. Active listening is when you focus. You try to catch words, repeat them, or imagine what the speaker means. This is the real magic. Imagine you are at a cafe listening to two people talk in English. Passive listening means you just hear sounds. Active listening means you watch their faces, guess the mood, and maybe repeat one sentence in your head. Mini challenge. After this podcast, listen to one short video or audio in English. Choose one sentence you like. Repeat it 3 times, trying to copy the speaker's voice. This is active listening. One of my friends once told me how she learned English on her way to work. Every day she played the same 5-minute podcast in the car. At first she only understood 20%, but she kept repeating it. 1 week later, she understood 40%. After a month, almost 80%. She smiled and said, "It was like watching a fog disappear from my ears." This story reminds us that repetition with attention builds clarity. But what happens when you listen and meet new words you don't understand? Many learners panic. That's where our next habit comes in. Here's the truth. You will never understand every single word. And you don't need to. Good listeners focus on the message, not on every detail. When you hear a new word, your brain wants to translate it into your language. But translation slows you down. Instead, learn to guess from context. For example, yesterday I went to the market and bought some juicy mangoes. Even if you don't know the word juicy, you understand it's something about the mangoes. From the tone, maybe it means fresh or full of juice. You don't need a dictionary to keep listening. Exercise. Try this now. Listen to a sentence in English today. If you don't know one word, don't stop. Ask yourself, can I understand the main idea without it? Let me share a short story with you. A student of mine, Ali, was watching an English movie. He kept stopping every 5 seconds to check his dictionary. After 30 minutes, he was tired and gave up. Later, I told him, Ali, you don't need to stop. Just enjoy the story. The words will return again, and next time you'll understand. He tried this new way, and after a few weeks, he came back smiling. Sara, he said, it feels lighter now. I can actually finish a whole episode. His story shows us why learning to guess is more powerful than translating every word. But there is another secret listening habit that works almost like magic. Shadowing. And that's what we explore next. Many learners love movies and series, but they make one mistake. They always use subtitles in their own language. That makes listening easier, but not stronger. Instead, use English subtitles. At first, it may feel difficult, but it trains your eyes and ears to work together. Mini exercise. Choose a short video with subtitles. First, watch it with English subtitles. Then watch again without subtitles. You will notice you understand more the second time. I remember one of my students, Layla. She was watching the series Friends. At first, she always read the Persian subtitles. She was laughing at the jokes, but not really listening. One day, she switched to English subtitles. She told me, Sara, at first I felt lost. But after 2 weeks, I started to catch the rhythm of real conversation. Her story shows us that subtitles should be a tool, not a crutch. They guide you, but the real power is in your ears. And when your ears start to recognize English sounds, you need to train them more carefully. That brings us to the next habit. English is a language of rhythm and stress. Some words are loud, others are soft. Some are long, others are short. If you only focus on words, you miss the music. Try this. Greater than, I want to go to the park. Notice how want, go, and park are stronger. Exercise. Next time you listen to English, don't write down words. Instead, tap your hand on the table with the rhythm. Feel the beat of the language. One of my friends, Ahmed, was always confused when native speakers spoke fast. He thought they were cutting words. But after practicing rhythm, he told me, Sara, now I hear the music, not just noise. His experience reminds us that fluency is not about speed, it's about rhythm. But how can you train your ears to catch these sounds more naturally? That's where the next habit comes in. When you listen, don't just hear, see. Close your eyes and imagine the scene. If someone says, the sun was setting behind the mountains, imagine the colors in the sky. If you hear, she was speaking softly on the phone, imagine her face, her hands, her gentle voice. Exercise. Take one short story in English, play it once, then close your eyes and replay it in your mind as a movie. I clearly remember a student named Omar. He was struggling with listening because he said, my mind always goes blank. I asked him to visualize. After a few weeks, he told me, Sara, now when I listen, it feels like I'm watching a movie in my head. This technique turns sound into memory. And when listening becomes memory, fluency grows. But of course, listening alone is not enough. You need to connect it with speaking. That's our next habit. Listening is like filling your cup. Speaking is like drinking from it. If you only listen but never repeat, the cup overflows. That's why it's powerful to repeat phrases you hear. Not only shadowing, but also using them in your own life. For example, if you hear, how's it going? Next time you meet a friend, say it in English. Even to yourself in the mirror. Your brain connects sound with action. Mini challenge. After this podcast, choose one phrase I used. Repeat it 3 times today. In your room, in your notebook, or even in a whisper. One of my students, Nadia, started doing this with movie lines. She told me, at first I felt shy, but then I realized my brain was remembering whole sentences, not just words. Her story shows us why listening must always lead to speaking. And finally, when you combine all these habits, you reach the last secret. Mixing your input. Shadowing means listening to a sentence and repeating it almost at the same time, like a shadow. It feels strange at first, but it's one of the best ways to train your ears and mouth together. For example, if you hear, I'm going to the park later, You repeat right after. I'm going to the park later. This helps you copy rhythm, stress, and intonation, things you cannot learn from books. Mini challenge. Choose a short video with subtitles. Play one sentence. Pause. Repeat it, copying the speaker's tone. Do this for 3 sentences every day. The 5th habit is mixing input. Don't just listen to podcasts. Mix movies, songs, audiobooks, YouTube videos, and even short conversations. This way, your brain learns different accents, voices, and styles. I remember once a student told me, "Sarah, I only listen to American English, but when I heard a British speaker, I felt lost." That's why mixing input is so important. It prepares you for the real world where English comes in many colors and sounds. So, let's bring everything together. Daily listening in small doses, active listening, guessing instead of translating, shadowing, and mixing input. These are your 5 habits. Practice them, and slowly but surely, you'll notice your fluency growing. And always remember, learning English is not about perfection. It's about connection. It's about enjoying the process. It's about taking one step every day. Thank you for staying with me until the end. If you enjoyed this episode, please like, subscribe, and share it with a friend. This is Sarah, and you've been listening to Best English Podcast, your daily step toward better English. See you in the next episode.